Hi, my name is Scott Shepard, and I'm a longtime educator at Watertown High School. But for the last 3 years, as some of you know, I've been the technology integrationist. And that's really just a fancy phrase for the person who helps teachers and students get the most out of their technology. And this is the first in a series of videos designed exclusively for advisory that will help you and your advisory supervisor understand the hardware, the software, and the operating system, in addition to the rules and some of the consequences. We're excited to have the MacBook. We think it's a good piece of software, but as one student that I overheard today said, it's so different. Today, I'm not going to talk so much about the differences. I want to talk about one thing that many of you are familiar with, and one thing that is new. And the first thing that I want to talk about that is new is something called Apple Remote Desktop. I suspect that you've already heard about this. I know that Mr. Butts talked briefly about it in the registration presentation before school started. And some of you who have been around for a while may remember something called Synchronize, which teachers used occasionally on the PC. And Apple Remote Desktop is like Synchronize, only here's what it will do that Synchronize wouldn't do. For one, you can't choose whether you're in it or not. As long as you're on the network, as long as you're in the school, you are part of Apple Remote Desktop. The other thing that's different is that it's not just your teachers that can see you, but any teacher, any administrator, and any IT person can see any person's computer anywhere in the school as long as it's on the network. Now that may make you think that we're trying to spy on you, and that's really not the case. Quite honestly, we'd hope that you would respect the rules and not do things like games and videos that you're not supposed to be doing. But it's quite possible that someone in another room may see you playing those games or doing those videos, and you may hear from them. So, just telling you that we have a great surveillance technology. We don't want you to get in trouble. So please respect the fact that we have this ability. Why do we need to keep you on task? Well, the computers are a school machine. They're for educational purposes, and for the most part, you're in school to learn. It's not unrealistic. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was email. Email is fundamentally the same as it was last year in that you will access it through the webmail program. However, if you will be using on the Mac side of things either something called Safari or Firefox. And there are a few differences in terms of how the Mac webmail works. I'm not going to talk about those differences today. I'm just going to say that don't be surprised if you do find differences. Building group lists, for example, is something that's a little bit different. The one thing that I did want to say about email, and I know you may have heard this more than once, so you'll have to forgive me for saying it again, but email, school email, is intended for educational purposes, period. I know that there's a fine line between what is educational and what isn't when you send or receive an email, but I'm going to tell you that people who are using email as a chat tool probably won't get away with it. If you're sending, like one student did last year, up to 1,000 messages a day, we're going to suspect that you're not sending 1,000 educational emails a day. Well, my goal in this video was to try to keep it to no longer than 4 minutes, and I'm up to 4 minutes. Let me summarize. Apple Remote Desktop, we can see what you're doing on your computer. Be sure to follow the rules and nothing will happen to you. With email, use it, but again, remember that we're putting the computer in the hands of students because we want to give them a good educational tool. Anyway, this is Scott Shepard saying, have a great rest of your advisory. Maybe you want to talk about this with your advisor. Enjoy your laptops.